Welcome to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. I am Tom Burton, proud superintendent of the Princeton City School District. Here today with two amazing juniors, Natalie Williams and Marielle Smith. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so you know that at Princeton, student voice is really, really important. So Natalie, I understand that you're gonna partake in the C Summit 2.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about it, and then when is it?
Yeah, so we're a student-led conference. On May 14th, we're going to be holding a conference where the students will be divided into different groups where we each chose a topic that we think is the most problematic within schools that we see as students. And we're going to present that to teachers, and the teachers will get to come from across the country and hear our voices, and we'll get to present that to them so we can have our voices heard, and then hopefully we'll be able to get them to take that back to their schools, and we'll be able to spread those ideas and hopefully make a difference in schools.
That's awesome. So you're actually gonna turn the tables on all teachers.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna be the teacher, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be the student. You know, last year for the first C Summit, it was awesome. Again, people from all over the country. We had over 1,000 teachers and administrators there.
That's crazy.
This year, I think there's 23 schools, districts participating.
Yeah.
We anticipate well over 2,000. How do you feel about that, being able to have that big reach across the country?
I'm really excited. That's really important and really good for us to be able to have our voices and be able to spread that, like our voices like that across the country.
Yeah, it's great. So Marielle, it was my honor to hear you speak at the four-way speech competition for Rotary.
Yes.
And so can you talk a little bit about what you did on Matthews Stage, sorry, and then talk a little bit about like what you were actually talking about and why it was important for you to actually express student voice.
At first, I started at Matthews Auditorium, and it was really, really epic because I got to see all the different students and kind of go against them. And despite it being kind of rough for me, I got to go ahead and make it to the next round.
So you made it to the finals.
I made it to the finals,
Awesome.
Yes, I did. And when I first was making my speech, I wanted to definitely put a target on everyone's voices, not just, male or female or whatever race. I wanted to put a target on voices in general and just basically spread my information and how I feel student voice is very, very important.
So I'm in the audience and I'm watching you. It was so impressive as you stood up there and you did not look at the prompt, which had the four-way test.
Yes.
Pick one area of the four-way test and talk about why that's important.
One area that I think is the most important to me is, does it create goodwill and better friendships? I think oftentimes we have a struggle with trying to find a situation that does create goodwill and better friendships within our schools and things like that. So I feel like fighting for something that we truly believe in and something that will create those goodwill and those better friendships and will create better environments for us is just amazing. So that was one of the areas that I really enjoyed speaking on.
Yeah, and again, so like the big reveal right now, so what happened when you competed in the finals?
In the finals, I won first place. So it was really, really amazing for me, and I had a lot of fun.
And what did you get for winning first place?
I got $250.
What? You're buying lunch today, thank you. Go ahead.
And I also get to compete in districts on April 8th at Wright State.
Okay, now did they communicate with you about how many other students will be you'll be up against or anything like that?
Yes, they said there's 48 other districts that are going to be competing with 48 other clubs, and I'm not really that nervous. I'm hoping that I'll go and do my best.
Yeah, listen, you're very, very impressive. And I know right after that, which is so awesome, directly after that four-way speech competition, the next day, we had this unbelievable celebration and great assembly on Black History.
Yes.
And what did you do there about student voice?
I did a poem, and I spoke about a lot of Black history and just Black trials and things that we have gone through. So I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, that was great. So Natalie, on top of everything else in terms of the C Summit preparation, rigorous courses, because I know 11th grade year is typically seen as the hardest year for all high school students. I don't know if you felt that or not, but you also do something else that you enjoy doing a lot, something with a ball?
Yes, basketball.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about basketball this season. I know you had a little bit of an injury,
Yeah.
or a lot of bit of an injury, actually.
Yeah.
But talk about the season in general.
The season was really good. We are a very strong team. We're a small team, but we all love each other very much, and we're all very close. We had a very good season, and we got to the Sweet 16, so it was the semi-regionals. I had an ankle injury pretty late in the season, so I was out for about 4 weeks, but I got back for our tournament. Unfortunately, we had lost to MND, who we'd beat earlier in the season. But it was a good game, and we had a really good long run. So I think next year we'll be able to come out and hopefully beat MND. But I have hope that we'll do well in the future. And we're a really strong program, and this year our new coach came in and really did a good job leading us.
Amazing. So Dee Davis is our new coach and has really done a great job. She's also wellness coordinator in the district. So it's not just basketball. It's really kind of extending and expanding great opportunities for kids by great people.
Yeah.
So Dee's done a great job. So Marielle, now it's not just, you just don't go around speaking. Obviously you're a student. Talk about some of the courses you're taking.
So I take poetry, performance poetry. I took that. That was really, really fun for me. And next year I'm hoping to take speech, which is a class that I have signed up for. But I really enjoyed performance poetry because it really showed me that people listen and that I can share my voice within the school and I'm heard.
What other courses are you taking?
I'm taking English 11.
Okay.
I'm also taking physics and other courses of that nature as well.
Okay. All right. So challenging
Yes.
curriculum. Natalie, what about you?
I'm taking IB English, AP Chem, and Pre-Calc. I'm in YBC, which is a drug research class, and that class is really cool.
Youth Built Change.
Yes. And then that's pretty much it, I think.
Okay. All right. So she's only so understand that you only take 3 classes a day. I'm just kidding. I think you mentioned 4. I know it's tough right here, but so girls, when you think about Princeton in general, and we always say empowering each student for college, career, and life success. What does the word empower mean to you, Marielle?
I think empower means to me to uplift, kind of, and definitely share our voices as a whole. I think when you are uplifting others and you're creating an environment that's okay to uplift others, I think it allows us to be ourselves. And not only that, but encourages us to do better within our school.
Excellent. Natalie?
I think it really means to listen and to speak up for things that you believe in and to share your voice, but also listen to other people's voices.
So how do you specifically feel empowered at Princeton?
I feel like I have my voice, and I know that I can use it at Princeton, that it'll be heard, and I know that the teachers have my back and will support me in my choices.
Excellent. Marielle?
I know that I'm in a group called EPIC, which also I'm the vice president of EPIC, which is amazing, and I know that that's one of those groups that shows me that I can be empowered and I can share my voice and say the things that I think at one point in time I was afraid to say, but I know that Princeton will listen.
Well, that's awesome. And speaking of listening, we pull on people every once in a while, and we pulled on you to, in fact, I think you were voluntold to participate in something else, which is called the League of Innovative Schools.
Yes.
And so you'll be able to talk about student voice, and we're really excited about seeing how you're going to roll with those punches and participate in the League of Innovative Schools, which was only 114 in the entire country. And Princeton went through a rigorous application process and was chosen in part because of innovation, obviously, but also what we're doing with student voice. So I'm really happy to hear that you guys feel that student voice is really important, and we not only practice what we preach, but our activities show what we believe in.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks so much. We'll be right back with you with Viking Voices, the people of Princeton.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports.
That's going to be a ball game. Princeton takes the match.
Shot, goal! Breaks a tackle at the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Vikings!
Welcome back to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Boy, the last segment was amazing. Natalie and Marielle did such a great job. And you see that student voice is really, really important. So we provide tons of opportunities for students. And we have great diversity at Princeton, as you know, not only in student population, but in class offerings. Tremendous Tremendous. So you'll hear later from one of our great International Baccalaureate students, and we're going to kind of delve into one of the biggest prides of Princeton right now, and that's our art department. We have two amazing students here, average artists. Just kidding. They're so much more talented than me. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Emma Tracy.
I'm in Draylin Brown.
And you are in what grade?
I'm in 11th grade.
I'm a senior.
Senior. Oh boy.
Yep.
Senior.
Big
Are you
12.
sad?
No.
Excited, ready for the next step? Mm-hmm. Is art going to have anything to do with next year?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to SCAD in Georgia, art school. I want to major in graphic design.
So does SCAD stand for something?
Savannah College of Art and Design.
That's amazing. So I see you have artwork here. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this is called The Color of Life, and it won a silver key in the Scholastic Art Competition. And this is one of my favorites I did this year. I really like all like the pencil work and the paint work in the background too. And it's really about like past and wisdom and my family and how my ancestors and my history and everything, and how it connects to me, basically.
You know, it's so funny that you mentioned that. And Emma, I want you to kind of jump in here too. I see you have some great pictures, which we'll talk about in a second. But the way that life is, that art really is a reflection of sometimes just how we feel. So talk about these great pictures, and where the heck were you?
Well, in these pictures, I was in Utah, which is where I went for vacation. And we were given, for our summer assignment, we were given a list of topics that we were able to use to take pictures, and I chose adventure. So here you can see like an arc in the National Arcs Park, and I was able to capture this, and with the sun coming in, and I called it the Utah Sun. And
hold on now. I thought I saw a card there. What is that?
And then I entered this into the Scholastic Art and Writing Award competition, and this one got the gold key.
Which is what?
Which is the highest you can get.
Okay, great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations as well. Awesome silver and art. Now, what about this one?
And now this one, I also entered in the Scholastic Art competition, and this one got the silver key, which is the second. And I also entered this into other competitions. And
Excellent. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but I think coming up soon is a Montgomery art competition. Have you heard about that? Okay. So it wasn't that long ago when I took this beautiful picture of the side of my car, and it had this great sunset reflection in it. And I called it Sunset Drive. What a great name. And I was like, for sure I'm going to win. Nothing. I didn't even get a silver key, a bronze key. I didn't even get a key. I lost my key to go home. It was terrible. So girls, let's talk a little bit about things outside of art. So what do you do? What kind of courses do you take? And I know we talked about your future already, which is awesome. But Emma, why don't you start off? What kind of courses are you taking? And what about the future?
well, I'm taking a lot of higher classes like AP and honors classes, and I'm doubled up on science this year because after high school I want to get into a science field.
Okay.
So I'm taking anatomy right now and chemistry, and then next year I'm doubling up again and taking honors physics and AP bio.
Oh, it's pretty impressive. Go ahead.
Well, I take IB physics right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I also take AP art, which I took AP art my sophomore year, and I loved it so much I came back to AP art my senior year. And I also took IB art last year. So, yeah. And I also take AP language, like English classes too. And I also tripled up on sciences. I take anatomy, body systems, and IB physics. So, yeah.
So, Andre Lynn, talk a little bit about the choices in general that you feel Princeton has to offer and how you feel empowered.
There are a lot of electives for like other kids and to get in different things, like ceramics. I want to take ceramics, but I couldn't. The drawing classes, drawing and painting, honors art, AP art, IB art. There's a lot of art classes, science classes, zoology, body systems, anatomy, the English classes, but yeah.
So lots of different offerings.
Yeah.
If there was only more time in the day. Right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So applied, accepted, and you're ready to go to Savannah. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Emma, talk a little bit about how you feel empowered.
Well, I think at Princeton, I'm able to take, like I said, higher up classes, and I think it's cool how you can take AP art classes, AP and IB art classes, and I think it's cool how we're able to enter into different competitions, and it definitely like boosts my confidence, and I'm able to like show my artwork to the rest of the world.
Now, would you guys prefer be like behind the camera, behind the paintbrush, or the pencil or pen, or like in front of it, like talking about it? What do you feel most comfortable doing?
I feel most comfortable expressing myself through my photos and being behind the camera.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I also feel the same way, but it goes kind of both ways for me because I also do it about other people and not just myself.
So in the last segment, we talked about student voice. How do you feel about being able to express yourself? I know you guys both just talked about it through art, but do you feel like student voice is valued and appreciated?
Oh yeah, I feel like they're very appreciated. There's a lot of things students can do to feel appreciated at Princeton, not just through art, but the classes they take and the opportunities they have to.
And I also like how, like, if we get an achievement, we're announced on the announcements, the morning announcements, and then I'll go to my classes, my teachers will ask me something about they said about me.
So before we end, I understand that there's like, you guys are still advancing in the competition for like the Governor's Cup or Governor's. So talk a little bit about what that means to you to kind of represent Princeton at the highest level in the state of Ohio.
Well, last year I applied to it, and my other work last year didn't go anywhere, but this time it did, and I'm very proud of it. So even if I don't go to the next round, I'll still be proud of it for me.
Yeah, that's great. Emma?
And this is my first year entering into this competition, and I think it's cool because I didn't think of photography in that sort of way. I just did it for fun, and just it's cool how my artwork is able to get that far in a competition.
Well, it's awesome, girls. And you can't do all this great work without like the flexibility in classes, the great administration, counselors, and everybody to help make that happen, but especially the teachers. The teachers mean so much, and we're going to hear from an amazing teacher here as we come back to the people of Princeton.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Welcome back to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Well, I kind of feel like it's 2 for Tuesday because we had our first 2 guests were awesome, our second 2 guests were incredible, and now I have 2 more unbelievable Princeton Vikings through and through. We have student Skylar Adams and also amazing, extraordinary art teacher and department chair Lindsay Holliday. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Skylar, we were kind of laughing a little bit earlier about the fact that I've known you for a long time. And that's one of the blessings that I have for having kids in the district. So I know your classmates with my son, who's probably mad at me for even thinking about mentioning him, but I'm not going to say Tommy Burton, okay? Skylar, talk a little bit about like the value of Princeton, some of the things you've been able to participate in, including what we just talked about.
Yes, so Princeton has given me many opportunities to participate in many of our extracurricular activities, such as student council, key club, theater, thespian troupe, cross country, which I did with your son, Tommy Burton. And let's see, what else? There's a lot. But those are the main ones that I participate in myself.
You know, Skylar, one of the funny things to me is like when I ask kids what they do, like sometimes people are like, oh, wait a second, Mr. Burton, I forgot. And they go through like a laundry list of things because of just the value of being able to participate in the things that matter most to you. All right, and I know one of those things is art. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. But first, Ms. Holliday, I know every single year it's amazing what happens in March. So do you want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen and just the value of art in your own life?
Well, the Festival of Arts is coming up in March, on March 20th. And the theme is The Community is Our Canvas. This year is going to be a little bit different as far as we have a Viking Spirit Award, which we've had. But I've actually reached out to a lot more of my art connections and community connections to get some people from outside of the district who kind of already know what we do at Princeton in the art departments, but I think they will get to see more. So I'm really excited about that.
So the Festival of Arts, and we'll get to the second part of that question here in a second, but the Festival of Arts is what? Like what is, so we don't know, if all the people that are watching right now, if they're like, what is the Festival of Arts? How would you define it?
It is a celebration of all of the arts, K through 12, and there are musical performances going on all day, and then the art will be displayed. The AP and IB art is actually going to line the hallways going from Viking Village to the cafeteria, and then the rest of the cafeteria will be filled with art from K through 12, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah, it always is, and we utilize some of the middle school, Matthews Auditorium, some of the gymnasium for prep, and then also cafeteria and line. It's just something amazing. Now, Skylar, have you participated in that?
I have every year since, I want to say kindergarten.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So quite a bit.
Yes.
Yes. And I see you have some artwork here. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So this is my personal Scholastics Art and Writing Award photo that I submitted, which received a Gold Key Award, again, which is the highest earning key that you're able to receive. And for this artwork specifically, we were talking about textile art, which basically deals with a lot of materials and patterns. And I was really inspired by a bunch of different photographers, such as what's his name? Richard Avedon. Richard Avedon is the one that I've been mostly inspired by throughout my artwork this year, who does a lot of minimalistic photography. And so I decided, how am I going to throw in the textile art with my own topic and inspiration from Richard Avedon, and went out to Joann Fabrics to get some cheap material to throw over my model. Shot this with my iPhone 12, and really didn't expect much of anything when I turned this in, but was really surprised when this got a gold key.
Well, I think it's awesome. And really, we talked earlier about how, and Miss Holiday, if you don't mind kind of jumping in and talk a little bit about how you're inspired by art and what actually art means to you and the value that art has in your life.
I think art is a good way for us to connect with the community, which is one of the reasons why I really push these art competitions, because I think it is good exposure for our students, but it makes them feel good and proud about the work that they do, that I tell them they're good at, but I think they think I just say that, but they are really amazing. And they get to show their work in different locations, and it's just a really good way to connect. For me, I kind of feel the same way. I think it's a good way for me to connect with the community and with other people, and just to do it in a way that I can express myself.
So there's so much about art, right? You can paint, you can draw, ceramics, and the list goes on and on and on, right? Photography, obviously, we just saw that and saw Emma's work before. What do you like most? Give us one. You can only pick one medium. Which one? Right this second. Which one?
Mixed media.
Oh, okay. Okay, Skylar, what do you like most?
Photography.
Okay, photography. There's so much to it, right?
Yes. It's not that, I would say it's probably one of the easier things you can do in arts, but photography, you can really add a lot to it, whether it's a message through the photo itself, or if you decide to add more onto it, like mixed media, you can paint on top of the photo, or you can go in and edit it digitally. I think it's more fun, in my personal opinion, but that's just me.
All right, so I've asked the other participants, the other students that were here, what does the future bring? 12th grader, ready for take on the world, college, military, career, what are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do? I plan to go to college to get my degree in early childhood education. I've always wanted to work with kids, and I've been inspired by a lot of teachers throughout the years being at Princeton. Princeton is very much a very inspirational school, as there's a lot of upbeat and very
positive teachers. I see you getting ready to say that. I can see
positive teachers.
Positive teachers.
Exactly.
Very
and
good.
I want to become that myself.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Word of advice for Skylar going into education. What do you say right now?
Just enjoy yourself with the students and make sure that you're having fun so that they're having fun.
Yeah, and the whole engagement piece is really critical as well, and that's what you and your colleagues in the whole high school, middle school, all the elementary schools, Innovation Center, everybody does. Engagement piece is really, really important to us, and that's something every time I stop by your room, I always see kids engaged, and it's so important to really have that and really kind of focus on that. So on top of having fun, that whole engagement piece is critical. And I know, Ms. Holler, you give up weekends, nights, all the time to create different opportunities. And so on behalf of our entire community, thanks so much for the great work you do, and thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Skylar, thank you as well.
Thank
and we'll be right back with Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Welcome to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Here today, Hall of Fame students in a Hall of Fame school. As always, go Vikings! Welcome back to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. I am Tom Burton, proud superintendent of Princeton City Schools, and I'm here today with senior Joel Alonzo. Joel, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Joel, in the last couple of years, we've really been challenged. And one of the things that we were just talking about was what you want to do after you graduate Princeton. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I plan on going to college, continue my education. Yeah. So.
And majoring in?
I'm planning on majoring in psychology.
So Joel, we hear that every once in a while. The kids want to major in psychology, and we always hear like, I want to help people, I want to do this, I want to do that. But I understand you have a really good reason. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
So for me personally, it goes more into, I've seen people struggle with mental health, and I definitely think, especially in the more modern age, it is an issue that is not addressed enough. And specifically, my more personal reason why is I come from a Hispanic culture, and for me personally, I have witnessed and see it's just something that's not discussed in that culture, and I think it's true with other cultures. That's just something people don't talk about, and it's a stigma for them still. And I feel like, as a whole, I want to make a difference in that, and almost as they can talk to someone who understands that background, And I feel like that's the main reason going into it, is just helping other cultures understand that mental health is an issue that it's everywhere, and it's not just something that you hide. You can talk about it, and it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah, far too often we look at that and we think to ourselves, well, that's a sign of weakness, but it's really not, right? Understanding who we are, why we are, and where we are. It's really important to be able to express that. Earlier in the segment, we talked about student voice. We don't need to go there again, but why Princeton? Like, I know you have a lot of Princeton pride, so why are you so prideful of Princeton?
I think I've gone to Princeton since I was in kindergarten. So, I've known this district so well, and it's helped me every single step along the way. Even when I'm struggling in classes, I know that the teachers are always helpful, they're always understanding, and they always want to talk and help in any way. They're not judgmental about it, and they want to help the students, and that's what I think is really nice. So
we definitely have amazing teachers, there's no question. You mentioned classes, so what kind of classes are you taking now?
So pretty much right now, I've been every single IB class except one is not an IB class, but
which IB is?
And that's the International Baccalaureate. So.
International Baccalaureate. Sometimes, Joel, we're in the land of acronyms. So in education, we talk about that all the time, and our viewers may not know. So International Baccalaureate, so you're taking a bunch of classes there. What else? What other type of activities are you involved in?
So mostly, outside of school, I go to work. That's mostly that's what takes up most of my time. That and homework. That's what takes up most of my time. So.
Well, with all those IB classes, that's certainly understandable.
It's a good amount. Yeah, it's a good workload.
So Joel, I know you've heard this, that our mission statement's empowering each student for college, career, and life success. I know you mentioned about being prideful of Princeton. Why do you feel empowered by Princeton?
I think that goes back to the educators that we have. Pretty much every year I've had a teacher who's always been probably the more helpful than others past year, and it just keeps progressing.
Better.
Yeah. So, but they've been really helpful. I couldn't imagine doing a lot of the classes I do now without their help.
So not necessarily sure where you're going to go next year, but you're definitely going to go to college. Psychology. What's one thing about you transitioning to college that you're most excited about?
Most excited? I don't know, maybe going off on my own. That's, don't get me wrong, I love my family, but I think there's an element of being by yourself that's scary but exciting at the same time, experiencing something new, so.
All right, now you heard it here first. It's not that not that he wants to leave the family, but he's ready to get a new experience. Well, Joel, thanks so much for joining us. You did a great job. Fine young man. Really excited to hear more about your future and all that. And yesterday, I met with two great psychologists who really were talking about making a big mark in one of the newer fields actually in psychology, positive psychology, which was first founded back in the early 2000s. So I would just encourage you to look at that as you kind of define what it is that you're going to do. So thanks, Joel, again. And any final thoughts that you have for the viewing audience?
I mean, Princeton's a great place. That's all I can really say. It's been really helpful. More than half of my life I've known Princeton. So, I mean, that's all I can say. So.
All right, well, thanks, Joel. And thank you for joining us in another edition of Viking Voices of the People of Princeton. We'll see you real soon.